Over $680 made this week in the market. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Isaiah, and in this video, we're going to talk about how we made that $680 some this week. We made that through selling cash secured puts, which means you're agreeing to buy a stock for a predetermined price. We did it through selling covered calls, which means we're agreeing to sell a stock for a predetermined price. And finally, we did it through collecting some high-yielding dividend payouts from ULTY, our cash cow, YMAX, and MSTY. So, today's video, it's Friday. We show our entire trade history as well as a run-up over the last 28 weeks. I always do a running total every Friday on our Excel file showing how much money we have made over the last 28 weeks. Before we jump over to the Excel file, I do want you to see my trade history. Like I said, full transparency. Let's first look at our options here. We collected over $300 in options. Started with rolling a position. When you roll a position, you're still agreeing to buy or sell it, depending if it's a put or a call. You're just changing your expiration date. I like to go another month out, and just by extending it out, got paid another credit. An awesome way to generate income. We opened some new positions on MVST, Coney, RIG, FSLY, FIP. All those positions paying me over $300 just to agree to buy and or sell it. Awesome, awesome. We also had some positions expiring, worthless today. So when you agree to buy a position, let's look at TIGR. We agreed to buy it for $8.50. So when you agree to buy a stock for a predetermined price, you have to put collateral up, called a cash secured put. So you take your strike price, the price you agree to buy it for, and you multiply it by 100 because there's 100 shares in an option contract. So for TIGR, we had to put $850 of collateral up. Because we agreed to buy it, we got paid $123. Well, at expiration, the stock price was almost $10. So I could have rolled the position, but I didn't because I kind of want to use the collateral in that position for some other trades. So what happens is I collected that credit when I opened the position, and now I'm getting that $850 back, and I'm going to reuse it next week to sell some more puts. And we also have two other positions in run expiring, worthless. I agreed to buy them for $5.50 and $6, and that stock's over $10. So I couldn't even roll that. It's just too high. But with that being said, we're going to jump over to our Excel file, show our running total for the last 28 weeks. But if you would, at this point in the video, help me out, leave a like, make sure you're subscribed. It does go a long way for me. And then also let me know in the comments how many shares of ULTY you have, because I am going for 3,000. I currently bought some more today, went down under $6. I didn't get it at its cheapest, but I'm up to 2,265 shares, on our way to 3,000 shares. I really hope Monday next week it's still at that $6 mark. I would love to buy more around that price. So like I said, help me out, subscribe, like, but more importantly, put in the comments how many shares you have and how many shares you're going for. So let's all grow together, and let's jump over to that Excel file. Okay, so before we jump into our running total, I always like to put our plays of the week in a little Excel file. I know I always show my trade history. I do that for transparency, but I feel like it's a little bit easier and more aesthetically pleasing, and you can see a sum on this. So, first column, the stock, that's the ticker symbol we played. The second column, credit, that's amount we collected. So let's focus on the three at the bottom, play DIV, dividend. So ULTY, YMAX, MSTY, all paid this week in dividends. And ULTY, we got $222 this week. That's the third week in a row we've collected over $200 for ULTY. That's just fantastic. I always want to reiterate, my trades are my opinions. They shouldn't be taken as financial advice. But I do like selling options more than I like these high-yielding funds. But out of them, ULTY is my favorite. And then YMAX. I go and come with this one. I have 518 shares. It was the first one I invested into kind of heavily. If I could go back in time, I probably wouldn't have put as much into YMAX and just put more into ULTY. I'd have that 3,000 shares. But YMAX gives me a little bit more diversification, so I'm not so overloaded in ULTY. And then MSTY, they pay monthly. They'll actually pay twice this month. So the incredible thing about them is I only have $1,000 invested into it, and I'm 5 months in, and I've made about $500 off dividend payout. So my return on capital is almost 50% for MSTY. I'm not going to put any more money into it. I don't have the faith that some of the people do. But that being said, I can't not call out how much it's paid out to me. I also want to go to the dividends tab here. Okay, on the dividends tab here, I want to kind of show how much money we've collected from our high-yielding dividend funds. So YMAX, that was the leader for the longest time because I had invested more money into it, had been in it longer. But I had earned $2,319 since purchasing YMAX. ULTY just passed them up this week, $2,437. You can see when they really started going weekly, it really changed, and then we started getting that, $100 and some bucks every week. You can see it growing and growing and growing because I was buying more shares. And if we could keep at $6 for next week, oh baby, I'll get another 100. I'd love that. MSTY right there, $505 collected. That's pretty incredible. To think that we have almost half of our capital returned in 5 months, and we'll get one more payment. And if we're lucky, those 56 shares that cost me $1,000, if we're lucky, we'll get a $95 payout, and that'll put us at $600 in 5 months. That's 60% return on capital. Pretty awesome there. So I did have other shares throughout. I also still have, let's scroll over here, MRNY. That's the only other one I still have. I've collected $669 on that one. That's probably my worst investment. That's the one that went from like $6 down to $2.79. So I did buy some more shares last month, and I had a $116 payout. So I guess if it stays at that $2.79 and I, buy a few shares here and there, drop, $20 gets you 10 shares. So buy a couple shares here and there, and I guess as long as YieldMax doesn't kick it out of the fund, I'll make all the money back. I'm technically up on MRNY. I think I'm down $500 and some dollars. So with dividends, I am up. Same with ULTY. I am down a few hundred, or about like $1,000, maybe $1,500. But I'm up if you include the dividend. ULTY, I'm down like a few $100 because my price average is pretty good. But including that $2,400 dividend payout, I'm significantly up. So dividend payouts are looking awesome. But we are going to go to our running total tab, our beautiful tab here that shows 28 weeks of selling options. Look at this, 28 weeks starting January 20th. Again, for those that are new or for those that aren't, you've heard me say this. I started on January 20th showing my trade history. Now, I was doing options for this YouTube channel before then, at the beginning of January, but I wasn't showing my trade history. That's my own fault. I didn't think about it. So for that reason, I don't include those first 3 weeks or first 2.5 weeks, whatever it is, in this running total. I wish I would, because again, that'd be another $1,500 added on to our running total, make it look better, but that's okay. Full transparency, I think that's the most important thing. But as you can see, over that 28-week span from January 20th all the way through August 1st today, our minimum goal has been $600 every single week. We have hit this goal every single week. And because of that, we have a running total of $21,218. We have collected $21,000 from year to date, our January 20th to August 1st, through selling options and collecting dividends. So that's a pretty awesome feeling. The account continues to grow. Now, like I said, I have borrowed from the account, and I will continue to do so. This account is for income generation. It's not to try to get to $100,000 as fast as I can, but this account will get there. But like I said, I like to invest in myself today, so when I see opportunities, I take advantage of them and use money from this account. But that being said, 28 weeks, pretty awesome. Always beating that $600 a week goal. And I was really tempted to make extra trades this week. We finally had a couple down days, finally. And if you're an option seller like myself, down days are beautiful. That's when you make your money. I know a lot of people freak out when they see their stocks going down, but if you follow my channel, please remember, not financial advice, but my opinion, down days are fantastic because you're generating income through selling options, or you're buying stocks that you like for cheaper. I'm not the first person to say that, but I'm trying to instill that confidence in you to not pay attention to your portfolio total. Pay attention to the assets within your portfolio. Maximize them. Get as many as you can of the things that you like that help generate your revenue while they're cheaper. Because if you have faith in them, then you're willing to go with the way they go. Don't ever put all your eggs in one basket. I'm a part of that ULTY army for sure, but I still would never put all my eggs in one basket. Selling options is a better way to go, but it is nice to add that to the portfolio. That I definitely will say. But if you take that $21,218 and you divide it by 28 weeks, that'll give you an average of $757 a week. That means for the last 28 weeks, we've collected a paycheck of $757. That's fantastic. That is more than fantastic. That is absolutely beautiful, and I love it. I love it. And if you would multiply that, a lot of math here for you, by 52 weeks in the year, you would have $39,405. We are on track this year to make $40,000 from an option selling small account, an income generating account where we don't do anything crazy. We don't try to time the market. We literally just agree to buy or sell stocks that we like, and then we buy dividend paying. So we don't do anything crazy, but we continue to build block by block, and it's a fun way to grow. And before we conclude this video, we're going to jump back over to Robinhood, talk about a couple more things before we sign off. Okay, we are back here, and the last things I wanted to touch base on were the options I have expiring next week, which I actually don't have any expiring next week. It's probably the first time for this account that I don't have any expiring. So the week of August 8th, we'll definitely open some new positions, and we'll definitely be buying some more ULTY. But the following week, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20, 24, 26, 27, 28, 30, 32, 34, 38, 39. We have 39 option contracts set to expire the week of the 15th. I'm going to roll some of those next week. I generally only like to roll positions the week they expire, but you know what? Rather than open up all new positions, I'm going to roll some of those this week so that way I can maybe make a new play. I try to be strict with that. Once you hit that $600 a week goal, you step away. Even though the last 2 days down a couple $1,000s in the market, the S&P 500, which is kind of where I always judge how the market's doing. I mean, that's over the last week. It hit 640 and it went down to 620. That's incredible. Down almost 3% for the week. That's amazing. That was a perfect time. So missed opportunities in terms of I had already made my money and I don't want to overtrade. But that's okay. That is okay. We continue to grow. Next week, we will roll a couple of the positions set to expire the 15th. I didn't realize I had almost 40 positions set to expire. So maybe I'll roll them just for a week. It'd be smaller capital, but then it's like, hey, then I'll have some more for the week of the 27th. I'm not sure. We'll see what the plan is. We'll talk a little bit more about that in tomorrow's video. But for this week, we hit our goal, $686. Another fantastic week. I love how we're growing. And let me know in the comments below if you're part of the ULTY Army or if you're going to come and say, hey, YMAX is better. Or I should put more money in Coney or Tesla, whatever. Love to know. I love the discussion. And let's all continue to grow together. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.